Ever wondered what makes Labrador Retrievers, or Labs as we affectionately call them, so universally adored? We're diving deep into a pile of articles, websites, even some YouTube wisdom to uncover the fascinating world of these beloved dogs.
Right.
Whether you're a seasoned lab lover thinking about welcoming one into your home, or simply curious about this perennial favorite, you're in the right place.
It's a timely deep dive given their enduring popularity.
Yeah.
But as we'll discover, there's more to labs than meets the eye. We'll explore why they hold a special place in our hearts, but also uncover some surprising nuances within the breed.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with their reputation for athleticism. Jogstar Charleston, they know their breeds right.
Oh, yeah.
They put labs right up there with border collies and Australian shepherds.
And there's a reason for that.
Is there?
We often see labs today as family pets, but their history is rooted in hard work.
Oh.
Those early labs, known as St. John's dogs, hailed from the rugged coast of Newfoundland.
Oh, you mean those pictures of labs with fishermen hauling in nets? I always thought those were just for a charming aesthetic.
Not at all.
Really?
Those dogs were essential partners, bred to swim in frigid waters, retrieving fishing gear, and even rescuing fishermen who fell overboard.
Wow, that's incredible. So when we see a lab today fetching a ball with boundless energy, we're witnessing generations of ingrained instinct.
Exactly. Those St. John's dogs were prized for their intelligence, trainability, and unwavering drive to please traits that are still hallmarks of the breed today.
Speaking of history, I stumbled upon a fascinating, almost unbelievable tidbit. Did you know that English nobles nearly caused the breed to go extinct?
It's a cautionary tale highlighting how even beloved breeds can face precarious fates.
Oh, no.
You see, those English nobles were so smitten with these Newfoundland fishing dogs that they imported them back to England.
Okay, that tracks. Who wouldn't want one of these amazing dogs? But extinction, that's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
Well, here's where it gets interesting. The English government, perhaps a bit jealous of these canine celebrities, imposed hefty taxes and strict quarantines on imported dogs.
Ah, bureaucracy strikes again.
Indeed. These measures intended to protect English breeds nearly wiped out the very population they aimed to admire back in Newfoundland.
Talk about unintended consequences. So how did the Labrador Retriever bounce back from the brink?
The modern Labrador we know and love today is a testament to dedicated breeding efforts, particularly by influential families like the Malmesburys and the Bucklicks. They recognized the Labrador's exceptional qualities and worked tirelessly to preserve and refine the breed.
They must have been incredibly passionate about these dogs. Were there any standout figures in those early breeding programs?
Absolutely. In fact, a black Labrador named Avon, bred by the Duke of Buccleuch, is considered a cornerstone of the breed. His lineage can be traced back to many modern labs, a true legacy.
Wow, talk about leaving your paw print on history. But let's be real, people don't just love labs for their impressive lineage, right?
Right.
It's all about that Labrador personality.
You're absolutely right. We picture those friendly, outgoing dogs, always eager to please and fantastic with kids. And for many, that rings true.
It's that classic image of a lab sprawled out on a living room floor, tail thumping happily as kids clamber all over them.
Precisely. But, and this is where that deeper understanding comes in, there's a spectrum even within a breed.
Huh.
Labrador Retriever dog breed information and characteristics. A piece we pulled for this deep dive highlights that some labs are more independent content with their own company, while others crave constant attention, those quintessential Velcro dogs.
So even within the Labrador Retriever world, there are shades of personality just like with people. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I imagine those differences are amplified by whether a lab is bred for work or companionship, right?
You're spot on. Labs bred for work, often referred to as field lines, are bred to perform specific tasks like hunting or search and rescue. They tend to possess higher energy levels, a more intense focus, and even a slightly different physique compared to their show-bred counterparts.
Hold on, so you're saying there's a difference between a show lab and a working lab? I thought they were all just Labrador Retrievers.
That's where it gets fascinating. While they are all Labrador Retrievers, different breeding goals have led to variations within the breed. Show lines are bred for conformation, meaning their appearance and adherence to breed standards are prioritized. Think that classic, well-proportioned physique, the otter tail, the dense water-repellent coat.
So if I'm picturing this correctly, a show lab is like the supermodel of the Labrador Retriever world, bred for those stunning looks.
That's a great way to put it.
Mhm.
And while many show labs still possess those wonderful Labrador temperaments, they might not have the same drive to retrieve the boundless energy or the intense focus as those bred for field work.
Okay, so we've got labs bred for companionship, labs bred for work, and labs bred for the show ring.
Right.
And within each of those categories, there's a spectrum of personalities.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why you said there's more to labs than meets the eye.
Exactly. And this is crucial information for anyone considering welcoming a lab into their home. Choosing a dog that aligns with your lifestyle and activity level is paramount for a happy and harmonious relationship.
Makes total sense. Speaking of finding the right fit, we have to talk about those fox red labs.
Oh, yeah.
Stoney Dennis, the lab expert we found on YouTube, seemed particularly enthusiastic about them.
He did, and with good reason.
Oh.
Fox Red Labs are known for their striking reddish gold coats. But as Stoney pointed out, their beauty often comes with a whole lot of personality.
Oh, is that a subtle way of saying they can be a bit of a handful?
Perhaps a bit.
Okay.
While generalizations are never absolute, Stoney has observed that Fox Red Labs can be prone to experiencing more pronounced fear periods during puppyhood and adolescence.
Fear periods. I have to admit I'm not familiar with those. What exactly are they?
Fear periods are phases that puppies and adolescent dogs go through, where they become more sensitive and reactive to new experiences. It's like their brains are going through a growth spurt, and they can become easily overwhelmed or startled by things that wouldn't faze them at other times.
So it's not that they're necessarily afraid of something specific. It's more like a heightened sensitivity to the world around them.
Precisely. Stoney emphasized that during these fear periods, patience, positive reinforcement, and avoiding any situations that could be overly stressful are key.
That makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like fox red labs, while stunning, might require a bit more understanding and guidance during those early stages.
For sure.
Definitely something to consider for a first-time lab owner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stoney also highlighted that fox red labs, in addition to those potentially heightened fear periods, tend to be incredibly driven and athletic.
Oh, really?
They need a job to do, whether it's agility training, advanced obedience, or simply having ample opportunities to run and play.
So a beautiful coat often comes with a whole lot of energy. I'm sensing a theme here.
Understanding the nuances within the Labrador Retriever breed is key to finding the perfect match.
You're catching on quickly.
Thanks.
And speaking of finding the right match, there's another crucial factor we haven't even touched on yet. The financial commitment of welcoming a lab into your life.
Ah, yes, that love and companionship come with a price tag, though.
Yeah.
Let's look at the financial realities of Labrador ownership. One article I came across didn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah?
Be prepared to spend, get this, at least $1,000 per year on food, vet care, and all the other necessities.
And that's a conservative estimate, not factoring in any unexpected emergencies, which, as any dog owner knows, can and do arise.
Right.
We're talking about a significant financial responsibility, but for many lab lovers, the love and companionship are priceless.
I can see both sides. $1,000 a year, that's a significant chunk of change. But then again, the unconditional love and companionship of a dog, especially a Labrador Retriever, well, that's hard to put a price tag on. You've hit the nail on the head. It's about weighing those priorities and making a responsible decision. Owning a dog, any dog, isn't just about those heartwarming moments. It's about being prepared for the financial commitment that comes with providing for their well-being.
Couldn't agree more. So we've covered their athletic heritage, those fascinating historical near misses, and the spectrum of personalities within the Labrador Retriever world. And we've only just scratched the surface.
We've still got a lot to uncover. Up next, we'll delve into the intricacies of their care, those quirky Labrador quirks, and maybe even bust a few myths along the way.
Okay, so we've established that labs are more than just adorable furry faces. They're complex creatures with rich histories and individual personalities. But what about the nitty-gritty of sharing your life with one? Let's dig into that, shall we?
Let's. And perhaps we should address the elephant, or rather the Labrador in the room.
Oh.
They do have a reputation for having hearty appetites,
Yeah.
which plays into those costs we mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, the Labrador Retriever, often just jokingly referred to as the Labrador Food Retriever. I even saw an article on a DARC post that broke down food costs for labs. Get this, a quality bag of food can set you back anywhere from $40 to over $100 per month.
It sounds like a lot, but given their energy levels and size, it makes sense. Those calories fuel their playful antics and keep those tails wagging. And BARC Post is right to highlight the importance of quality food. A healthy diet can go a long way in preventing some of the health issues labs can be prone to.
Like hip and elbow dysplasia, right? I know that's a big one for larger breeds.
Exactly. Hip and elbow dysplasia are conditions that affect the joints, and unfortunately labs are predisposed to them, especially those bred for intense activity.
Oh.
And it's not just their joints. Eye conditions like progressive retinal atrophy can also be concerns.
Okay, now I'm getting a little worried for these labs. They sound prone to some serious issues.
It's not all doom and gloom, I promise.
Okay.
The key takeaway here is the importance of responsible breeding. Labrador Retriever dog breed information characteristics, which we've already mentioned, stresses the need to find a reputable breeder who conducts thorough health screenings on their dogs to minimize these risks.
So it's not just about finding the cutest lab puppy. It's about doing your research and finding a breeder who prioritizes the long-term health of their dogs.
You've got it. And that brings us to another point of discussion, and perhaps a bit of a sensitive one: color variations in labs.
Oh, right. We touched on those fox red labs earlier.
Yeah.
But I know there's also silver, charcoal, even white labs. And I get the sense that those colors come with their own set of opinions, right?
You could say that. The American Kennel Club, or AKC, recognizes three main colors for Labrador Retrievers: black, chocolate, and yellow.
So those other colors, they're like the rebels of the Labrador world defying the AKC standards.
In a way, yes. While the AKC doesn't officially recognize them, so those other colors do exist, and there's a lot of debate surrounding their origins. Some breeders argue that these colors are the result of introducing other breeds into Labrador bloodlines, perhaps unintentionally over the years. Others maintain that these colors are simply the result of recessive genes within the breed itself, just waiting to emerge.
It's like a canine mystery. Do we have any definitive answers?
Unfortunately, not yet. There's no genetic test that can definitively prove or disprove either side of the argument. And to make things even more interesting, remember Stoney Dennis, our YouTube expert?
Yeah.
He made an interesting observation about how breed standards themselves have evolved over time.
You mean how the labs we see today, whether they're black, yellow, chocolate, or even those rarer colors, might look a bit different from those early St. John's dogs working alongside fishermen centuries ago?
Exactly. So while the color debate might continue, it's important to remember that all labs, regardless of their shade, share those core traits that have captivated us for generations: their friendliness, intelligence, and eagerness to please.
At the end of the day, a lab's a lab, right?
Precisely. And speaking of those core traits, let's dive into a crucial aspect of welcoming a lab into your life: training and living with these high-spirited dogs.
Bring on the training tips. From what I've gathered, socialization seems to be key, especially during puppyhood, right?
Absolutely. Socialization is crucial for any dog, but it's especially important for labs given their potential for exuberance.
Right.
Exposing them to various environments, people of different ages and appearances, and other dogs, both big and small, is essential.
So it's not just about preventing them from becoming those dogs who bark at everything that moves. It's about building their confidence and social skills, right?
Exactly. A well-socialized lab is a happy lab, comfortable in various situations.
Ah.
And while we're on the topic of training, let's talk about that Labrador energy. We saw those videos of Stoney's labs practically flying through obstacle courses.
I know, it's crazy.
What kind of exercise does a lab need to thrive?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. My image of a lab lounging on the living room floor suddenly feels a bit off.
While labs do enjoy their downtime, those bursts of energy are part of their charm, and it's crucial to provide them with outlets for all that exuberance. Think at least 30 minutes of vigorous exercise most days.
Wow, that's more than just a leisurely stroll around the block. What kind of activities are we talking about?
Anything that gets their heart rate up.
Yeah.
Fetch is a classic, of course, tapping into their retrieving instincts. Swimming, if you have access to a safe body of water, is fantastic. And long walks, hikes, even running alongside you if your lab is fit and cleared by a vet, are all great options.
So lots of opportunities to embrace their athletic heritage. But it's not just about physical exercise, is it? Didn't we talk about how intelligent labs are?
Excellent point. Labs need mental stimulation just as much as physical activity. Puzzle toys are great for keeping their minds engaged, and training sessions, whether it's basic obedience or teaching them fun tricks, can be incredibly rewarding for both you and your lab.
So it's about tiring out those brains as well. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I have to ask about something I've heard whispered about in hushed tones amongst dog owners. Those Labrador tendencies to, shall we say, bark a bit excessively and maybe indulge in a little destructive chewing?
Ah, yes, those Labrador quirks. Let's address them head on. Labs are generally known for their friendly nature, but they can be prone to barking, especially when excited or if they sense something unusual.
So those stories about labs who greet the mailman with an enthusiastic symphony of barks, there might be some truth to them.
There might be, but it's important to remember that barking is a natural form of canine communication. The key is understanding the root cause and addressing it through training.
And what about that chewing? I've seen some impressive chew toys designed specifically for powerful chewers like labs.
Those heavy-duty chew toys exist for a reason. Labs, especially puppies, explore the world with their mouths. Providing them with appropriate outlets for their chewing instincts is crucial. And just like with barking, addressing any underlying anxiety or boredom can go a long way in preventing destructive chewing.
It sounds like a lot of it comes down to understanding their needs and providing them with the right outlets for their energy and instincts.
Right.
Okay, one more thing before we move on. Earlier we talked about fear periods, those phases where puppies and adolescents become extra sensitive. Stani mentioned that fox red labs might experience these more intensely. Can you elaborate on that?
Of course. Fear periods, as we discussed, are perfectly normal developmental stages. However, just like with human teenagers, some labs might go through them more dramatically than others.
Yeah.
And while there's no definitive scientific evidence to suggest that fox red labs are inherently more prone to heightened fear periods, anecdotal evidence from experienced breeders and trainers like Stani suggests it might be a factor to consider.
So if you're considering a fox red lab, be prepared for the possibility of those teenage angst years being a bit more, shall we say, pronounced?
Precisely. And remember, patience, positive reinforcement, and a calm, reassuring presence are key during those phases. Avoid overwhelming them with new experiences and focus on building their confidence.
It sounds like those early socialization efforts we talked about play a crucial role in navigating those fear periods as well.
Absolutely. A well-socialized lab is more likely to approach new experiences with curiosity rather than fear.
This is all such valuable information. I feel like I'm getting a crash course in Labrador 101.
And you're doing great. But we've only just scratched the surface of what makes these dogs so fascinating.
Well, there's more. I'm all ears.
Oh, there's always more to discover. For instance, have you ever wondered about the difference between American labs and their English counterparts?
Now that you mention it, I have heard that distinction being made. Is there really such a thing as an English Labrador Retriever? I thought they all originated in Newfoundland.
You're right about their origins, but over the years, different breeding priorities have led to distinctions within the breed. What people often refer to as English labs are typically show labs bred for conformation, that classic stocky build and more laid-back temperament.
So it's not so much a separate breed as it is different breeding goals leading to certain traits being emphasized, just like with those show and field lines we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Think of it as variations on a theme. The core Labrador Retriever traits are still there, but those nuances in breeding can lead to subtle differences in appearance, temperament, and even energy levels.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little. I had no idea there was so much depth to the world of Labrador Retrievers.
And we're not done yet. We still have to delve into those rarer color variations, those health concerns we touched on, and of course we can't forget about the countless ways labs have captured our hearts both in our homes and on the big screen.
Okay, you've officially piqued my curiosity.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The subtle ways breeding choices have shaped the labs we know today. But beyond those physical and temperamental variations, there's another layer to this breed that truly sets them apart.
Okay, you've really got me on the edge of my seat here. What else could there be? We've covered history, personality training, even the great color debate. What other Labrador secrets are we unlocking today?
Let's talk about their versatility.
Okay.
Labs aren't just beloved family pets. They excel in a remarkable range of roles.
Oh.
Think guide dogs for the visually impaired search and rescue team's therapy work. The list goes on.
You're right. I've seen those heartwarming stories of labs changing lives as service dogs. It's incredible to think that those playful pucks we see at the park have the capacity for such incredible work.
It's a testament to their intelligence, their trainability, and that unwavering eagerness to please that we talked about. They're truly remarkable dogs, and their impact goes beyond those everyday acts of canine heroism.
Okay, now you've piqued my curiosity. What kind of impact are we talking about?
Think about Marley from the book Marley and Me.
Oh, yeah?
He might have been known as the world's worst dog, but his mischievous antics and unwavering loyalty resonated with millions of readers. He reminded us of the special place dogs hold in our hearts, even when they're driving us crazy.
Oh, I loved that book. Marley might not have been winning any obedience awards, but he embodied that unconditional love that makes labs so special.
Exactly. And he's just one example. Labs have a way of worming their way into our lives, both in reality and through those heartwarming stories we tell. It's a testament to their enduring appeal.
You know, now that we're talking about labs in popular culture, I can't help but think of those iconic Andrex puppy commercials.
Oh, yeah.
You know those adorable little lab puppies tumbling through piles of toilet paper? They've been a British staple for years.
And who could forget Zeke, the wonder dog,
Ah.
the frisbee-catching mascot for the Michigan State Spartans. Labs truly are everywhere.
From duck stamps to magazine covers, from the big screen to the sports arena, they've left their paw prints on history and culture.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the most important takeaway is that while we've uncovered a wealth of information about labs, each one is an individual.
So all those variations we talked about, those subtle differences in temperament and those unique quirks, they all add up to one thing. No two labs are exactly alike.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of this breed. Whether you're drawn to their athleticism, their unwavering loyalty, or those soulful eyes that seem to see right through you, there's a Labrador Retriever out there for everyone.
I have to say, this has been an incredible journey. We've debunked myths, uncovered fascinating historical tidbits, and gained a whole new appreciation for the Labrador Retriever.
And hopefully we've sparked a sense of wonder and a desire to learn even more. Perhaps this deep dive has inspired you to research those early St. John's water dogs, or delve into the world of dog sports where labs often shine.
That's what we love to hear, because at the end of the day, the journey of discovery and learning is just as rewarding as sharing your life with a Labrador Retriever.
Well said. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those tails wagging.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.